Okay, it's live. We're live. Cool. Thank you for waiting, folks.
Did you say wading like into water?
Waiting. Oh, wait. Nothing spectacular. Good evening and welcome to the November roundtable for, you're here tonight.
Yes.
And you're going to be up at camp on Saturday.
Yes, see you on Saturday.
You excited? Yubi's going to Introduction to Outdoor Leader Skills. It's going to be a nice weekend and got a good crowd up there. So we were just meeting last night to talk about some of the final points on that. This evening we've got our Big Rocks is going to be Webelos to Scout transition. The Cub Scouts leaders are going to be talking about religions around the world, and the the Scout ESA. Boy, my bad, sorry. Are talking about the new leadership skills for troops, so the introduction to leadership skills for troops. We have David Potter here from the Vice President Program. Barbara's in the back, and what's your name again? Maureen. Maureen is here tonight. And let's do our opening ceremony. Will you all rise and face the flag? One of the flags for that. And salute. Ready to begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two. And I'll let David do the announcements.
All right. A lot of great things coming up, especially this weekend. We have Introduction to Outdoor Leader Skills at Camp Verdugo Oaks, along with Baloo, Basic Adult Leader Outdoor Orientation for Cub Scout leaders. So it's going to be a fun weekend up there. And if you haven't done it, we'll still let you go. So check the website out for that. Also coming up, we have in December, there's the Montrose Christmas parade that they always look for scouts to join in on. And also on December 14th is the Order of the Arrow banquet, the annual banquet where they give their awards and install their new officers for the year. And then coming up in January, we have NYLT, or otherwise known as National Youth Leadership Training. If you haven't signed up, where there's a few openings left, but it's filling up quickly. So this is a great opportunity for your youth leaders to get excellent training. It's not only scout type training, but it's training that will help them all through their lives. We have HAT First Aid Wilderness and Remote First Aid here at the auditorium, and starting in January also. And on February 20th, we kick off the 100th anniversary of the Verdugo Hills Council with our recognition dinner for Silver Beavers, Outstanding Eagle Scouts, and Eagle Scouts. And that's where we're going to kick off 100 great years of the adventure of scouting here in the Verdugo Hills. So you'll be able to sign up for that soon on our website. Also, we're looking for nominations for the Silver Beaver Award, the Outstanding Eagle Scout Award, the Touch of Gold Award, which is for adults who work with youth with disabilities. For those who aren't here, we do have them here if you'd like to take one home, hard copy. But if you go to the council website, you'll find plenty of places to find these awards and then send them on in their nominations. And that's about what I have currently. Is there your popcorn? Do you have anything to say about popcorn?
Popcorn sales are coming to an end. I'm going to come where the camera can see me. Popcorn sales are coming to an end, but it's not too late to sell online. If you're doing popcorn sales online, that credit still goes to your unit, your troop, or your pack, or your crew, or your host. So you should definitely still be out there selling popcorn if you can. And actually, this weekend, it will be free shipping on the online popcorn ordering site. So if anybody has been waiting to buy their popcorn and they really want some, the Cinnamon Crunch is my favorite. You can get it with free shipping at popcornordering.com. And prize orders are due tomorrow on Friday the 15th. Now I believe Barbara has something to say regarding our scout shop.
I do. Hi guys. The Scout Shop is having some really great stuff coming up. I'm Barbara Hagum, and I'm a seamstress for the Scout Shop. So come in and see us and get new uniforms if you have to, and patches on or whatever. But you'll also see some wonderful things coming through the Scout Shop just for the holidays. Enjoy. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, the holiday is a great time to fill up on that camping gear. Don't get toys and games, get them camping gear or reservations at a scout camp. Come on, grandma and granddad, if you don't know what to get them, scout stuff is always great. All right, anything else? Any other announcements? No, yes, no, yes, no. Okay, moving right along.
Just take the opportunity. Sometimes on the agenda, we have a thought of the day, and I didn't put one on this time, but the tragedy up in Saugus got me thinking about how great our program is for helping young people avoid situations where they might get so distraught that they do stuff like that young man did. So be thinking about your young people in scouting and how you can support them. A couple months ago, we had our thought of the day was, how you doing? Are you okay? Was the theme that came out of Australia, but asking somebody, are you okay? And then listening to what they say. So let's keep that in mind as we try to go through the next few days with the sadness up there. Thank you.
Thank you, Pierre. So we're going to talk a little bit about Webelos to Scout transition. One of the biggest areas where we lose Scouts is that moment in between, where Cub Scouts who become Webelos don't get a really great program and convinced to go on into Scouting, and so we tend to lose them. And you'll see the numbers always drop in that area. This is a great opportunity, especially for troops. There's many things a troop can do to help with the Scout to Webelos Scout transition. Helping, a way a troop can help is to contact a pack in their area that maybe is one of their main feeders or something, and do some activities with them. I noticed when I was out front that in our rack out front, several units are already doing it. Troop 219 is doing a thing to encourage Webelos Scouts to come join them on Wednesday, the 26th. They're having a special event and showing off scout skills and things like that. And then I also saw that Troop 288 is doing a rock climbing Webelos adventure that they're sponsoring it to bring Webelos to start learning about rock climbing and all that fun stuff. So troops are doing it, and if your troop isn't, it's one of the things you guys should think about doing, is doing some kind of events that involve them. You know, one of the complaints I hear sometimes is that, oh, all my kids are going over that other troop. They're not coming over to my troop. So one of the big reasons, one of the troops has really grown a lot in the last few years, is a lot of their kids are staffing the Cub Scout events, Rocket Academy, Haunton, Resident Camp. And so therefore the Cub Scouts see these young men in their roles and leaderships as staff members. And of course, then the next thing, they make friends with them and they want to go to their troops. So if you have young adults in your unit that would like to work on staff, you see the benefits of it are really good for your unit. It doesn't have to be one or two particular troops. We are always looking for volunteers to be on staff for all the events. And like I said, then they make friends with the Cub Scouts. The Cub Scouts then want to go to the units where they know people and they've seen the kids in action. So there's a great way to help the Webelos to Scout transition, because that's right at the moment they're about to try to decide. The other thing the packs should do is connect with a troop. During that last year, or the Arrow of Light year, it's really important. There's a lot of skills that are very similar to Boy Scout skills. So if a pack and a troop work together, they can use young scouts from the troop as the teachers. And we know they're tired of hearing from us on how to do stuff. They don't need to hear from us. The whole purpose of what we're trying to do here is to have young people teaching other young people. And they'll pay more attention, they'll get more out of it and things like that. So if they do several of the activities in Webelos and Arrow of Light are similar and easily taught by the Boy Scouts. The other thing is to have den chiefs. It's very important for a den to have a den chief. And again, it's a great way for recruiting for your own unit. If the den chief comes from a troop, the odds are the young Cub Scouts in that den will want to, again, go to that troop because they know what to expect, because they hear them talking about all the cool adventures they go on. So there's another way to transition them. The thing, my feelings are, we need to get them into the troop so they can try it out. Maybe it's not going to work for them. And the other thing is they don't have to stay in the troop that they transition to. There's nothing wrong with changing troops. And when I was Scoutmaster, I would encourage the boys, I would much rather you stay in scouting in another unit than be upset if you don't like what's going on in this particular unit. But the important thing is to keep them in scouting. So they can try out, part of the Webelos is to try out different troops and see what they're doing, what their activities are. It's a lot of opportunities there. Some troops specialize in certain things. I know one of our troops is really big on winter sports. So if you're into winter sports, that's probably a great troop to go to. Other troops in our area are big on rock climbing, backpacking, summer camps, of course, as always. And we want to transition them so they have plenty of time to get ready for summer camp. We don't want to have our transition period in June or May, just before that troop's going to summer camp. One of the things is they probably won't be able to go because they've already booked up for what they numbers that they have. If you transition them in February, kind of what we would like on a national level, it gives time to get used to the troop, go on a couple outings, get in on the summer camp that's coming up, because we know statistically, the sooner we get them out to summer camps, the more we know they're going to stay in the program and they're going to get a lot more out of it. It's really a transition time. The other thing is, if we don't ask them to join the troop, they won't. It's really funny, but when we interview people who say, how come you didn't go on into Boy Scouts? Nobody ever brought it up to me. Nobody convinced me. Nobody asked me. So it's up to us to help them transition in. Like I said, if they're not happy with the troop, they don't have to go to the same troop. You may have a den of 6 young people, and they can all go to 6 different units. There's nothing wrong with that at all. They don't have to bridge or transition as a den. Again, it's about finding what's the right fit for them. Maybe their kids, their friends from school are going to a different unit, so therefore they want to go with that one. Maybe they rather go to a unit that's closer to their house, so they go to that one. Or maybe they found out that the winter sports one is one that they're really excited to go to. There's many reasons Scouts join different units. The trick is to make sure we give them every opportunity to join the units, and then we let them get all that information out there. And again, if you're a Scoutmaster out there in the internet listening to us, you need to partner up with the pack and get to know the Webelos leaders, get to know the Cub Master, and offer up what you can. You have skills that they can use, you have equipment that they can borrow, and the better relationship you guys work out with each other, the more of the Scouts are going to want to come to your unit. It's really important that we give the Webelos and Arrow of Light kids every opportunity to understand what Boy Scouting, the older scouting adventure, is about, and to encourage them to join on. Do you have any questions?
David, who's involved in the Webelos to Scout transition? Who's got a role to play in all that?
Then your roles would be the Webelos Den leader or Arrow of Light leader, your Cub Master, and then from the Scout side of it, the Scoutmaster. And a lot of units, what they'll do is they'll assign an assistant Scoutmaster to be that Webelos transition person. And so that they can take that on and help the transitioning going on, contacting the different packs in their area. That would be great responsibility. Also, the unit commissioners should be out there helping and reminding the leaders that you have this opportunity, and the unit commissioner can help the parents and the youth find a troop that works for them. And they can just say, okay, I've got these other, here's 5 troops, here's what they do, and here's their contact information. And then the same thing, once he does that, the commissioner should also then notify the troop saying, hey, I've spread the word about your unit. Here's some parents that have expressed interest. And so you may want to contact them. We also do a Webelos Woods where troops and packs come together and visit and see troops in action as a one-day event and do some skills. Any other questions? It's really an important time. And the more we do for them to help them transition is going to make a huge difference in getting them to stay in the scouting program. You know, there's a lot of youth organizations out there. We all know now there's probably 100 times more than when we were young. But if you look at the values of our scouting program and what we're trying to accomplish, and when you see the fruits of your labor in Eagle Scouts and in other young people when they become adults, it's really worth all the effort we put into it for you. So please spread the word that Cub Scouting is not the end of scouting. It's just the beginning of the great adventure of moving into the older scouting world.
Is there anything on the scouting website for this?
Yes, if you can put in Webelos to Scout Transition, and you'll find several articles involved that'll give you some pointers and give you some breakdowns on who you can contact, who can help you along the way, and give you some ideas on as a troop, especially on sponsoring a Arrow of Light Day to bring Webelos and Arrow of Light members in.
There was actually a nice article in Scouting Magazine last month on bridging and transition.
Yes, and one of the other things that for the actual bridging, the troop should get involved with the Cub Masters to make sure that the ceremony is something that is memorable for the youth that are transitioning. I know when I was Cub Master, just before they would cross the bridge to the new Scoutmaster, and we would take off their Cub Scout neckerchief, and then the troop would give them their troop neckerchief on the other side. I would also hand them, as the Cub Master, a Boy Scout handbook for their journey with a little something in there to hopefully encourage them to stay in scouting and move on and the adventure that lies ahead for them. So we can do many things to keep them excited about the adventure. Cub Scouting is the start, a lot of fun, but to me, some of the really great adventures that are ahead for them is in the scouting program. Anything else? Mr. Pierre.
Thank you, David. Years ago, I was at a bridging ceremony for a brand new troop that was accepting. It was Troop 196, when 176, when 176 first was created, and PAC 176 graduated a den of Webelos across a bridge into this new troop. On the other side of the bridge, they received a hat, one of the new felt hats, and a hand axe, and a copy of the Boy Scout handbook. And I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, because there was not a Cub Scout in that room who did not want to cross that bridge. They wanted to be the next one across that bridge. It was a great marketing tool for Troop 176. Little expensive marketing tool. I'm sure the parents ponied up for all of that, but and I think they took the axes away from them as soon as they left the stage because they had not yet earned their tokenisms. But it was memorable for me, and I'm sure it was memorable for every Cub Scout in there. Tiger Cubs on up, and they all wanted to participate. Any other questions for David about Webelos Scout transition? Do you have any experiences with Webelos to Scout transitions that you'd like to share with us? Was your son in Cub Scouts too?
He was.
And what pack was it? You remember?
Yeah, he was in Pac 10 up in Reno.
Uh-huh.
And transferred him to Troop 4 in Reno, and then came down here.
Did they have a meaningful ceremony crossing over?
Yeah, they surfed their way across.
Surfed their way across.
And the scouts showed up in their swimsuits and their t-shirts, with their den t-shirts, and they had a skateboard, that somebody had, or two skateboards that somebody put a surfboard on top of, and surfed their way across.
I love it. I love it. It's got pizzazz written all over it, especially for landlocked Reno. You've got the sand, but not the That's great. Well, be creative and think about all those people that are involved. The unit commissioners, the assistant scoutmaster for the new scout patrol is usually the one who's responsible for reaching out to packs and making that connection. As David said, that's where they tend to drop off into the great abyss before they move on to scouts. Yes, ma'am.
One thing I found out as Webelos transition is charity is transitioning their parents. Make sure that the parents get the information. For all these years, they've been used to signing off their handbook. All of a sudden, that's not going to be the way we do things. The parents are used to, oh, if Johnny goes on the camp out, I have to go with them. That's not the way we do things in the troop. So having some introduction and transition for the parents is also helpful so that they don't get lost.
That's an excellent point. Years ago in our troop, we would go to the Webelos in the feeder pack, and about this time of the year, in October or November, and do a presentation on the 10 essentials. We would talk also with parents, and we'd have someone talk to the parents in the other part of the room briefly about it. We'd talk about the 10 essentials, and we'd hold up good examples of a pocket knife and a compass that Aunt Mary might want to put in as a stocking stuffer 2 months from now. And we pointedly said this might be something that Aunt Mary might want to buy George. And if you're looking for the right type of compass, this is the one to get them. And the number of kids that show up with a 4D cell flashlight, they should be instructed before that. Okay, folks, we're going to split now, and the Cub Scout leaders will go into the boardroom and meet with Maureen and Barbara and talk about religions around the world. And the Scout leaders will stay here, and we'll talk about the new Introduction to Leadership Skills for Troopers. And this information will all be on the website. We'll post some information bright and early tomorrow morning, both the agenda and the links that we've been talking about. Thank you. End stream. So that was.